What bird can mimic your voice, outsmart your dog, and scream louder than your morning alarm clock? What if I told you there's a parrot out there that forms lifelong relationships, uses tools, and throws full-blown tantrums when it doesn't get attention? And here's the kicker. One macaw in Brazil once testified in a criminal investigation. Yes, you heard that right. But we'll save that story for later. Welcome to Wildlife Lounge, where nature gets weird, wild, and occasionally hilarious. Be sure to subscribe for more exciting videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And without further ado, let's get right into it. Today's episode is loud, feathery, and outrageously smart. We're diving into the world of macaws, those living rainbows with attitude. We'll uncover their secret love lives, their unexpected strength, a few myths you've definitely heard before, and that infamous courtroom macaw we teased earlier. Let's get squawking. The macaw belongs to the Psittacidae family, which sounds like a sneeze but is actually the scientific name for the aristocrats of the parrot world. And among this feathery elite, we've got some absolute show-offs. First up, the Ara ararona, also known as the blue and yellow macaw. This bird looks like it flew straight out of a tropical fashion show and never looked back. It's basically a flying highlighter with swagger. Then there's the Ara Macaw, the scarlet macaw, bright red with splashes of blue and yellow like a living carnival float. If parrots were Instagram influencers, this one would be selling jungle-themed skincare and yelling, "Don't forget to like and squawk." And last but not least, the Anodorhynchus hyacinthus, the hyacinth macaw. The name alone sounds like it should come with a cape and a backstory. It's the largest of all flying parrots and has feathers so blue they make the ocean feel insecure. If elegance had feathers and a taste for walnuts, it'd be this guy. And those names? Come on. Ara ararona, Anodorhynchus hyacinthus. They don't sound like birds, they sound like spells from a wizard who got distracted mid-sentence. Anodorhynchus hyacinthus. Oops, I meant to summon a snack, not a 3-foot-long flying rainbow. But honestly, it tracks. Macaws are basically winged magicians. They're loud, dramatic, colourful, and impossible to ignore at parties. You don't own a macaw owns you. Macaws are native to Central and South America, thriving in rainforests from southern Mexico to northern Argentina. Picture tall trees, dense canopies, and a constant soundtrack of chirps, growls, and thunder. Basically, nature's rave party. Macaws stick to the upper levels of the forest, gliding across the treetops in pairs or squawking in raucous flocks. What makes this animal special? Where do we start? Macaws are insanely intelligent. We're talking puzzle-solving, tool-using, mirror-recognizing, open the cage and let yourself out kind of smart. They have powerful beaks that can crack open Brazil nuts like popcorn, feathers so vivid they look digitally enhanced, and a voice range that includes mimicking human speech. Plus, they're one of the few animals that form true monogamous bonds. That's right, till death do us squawk. Macaws aren't exactly apex predators, unless you're a terrified almond. But what they lack in hunting skills, they make up for in expert-level foraging. These birds are the snack connoisseurs of the rainforest, carefully selecting fruits, seeds, nuts, and get this, clay. That's right, actual dirt. Macaws casually show up to nature's buffet and order the mud pie. But they're not just being weird for attention. The clay helps neutralize toxins found in some of the seeds and unripe fruit they eat, kind of like nature's version of Tums, only crunchier. And while they're busy chowing down like feathered food critics, there are dangers lurking around. In the wild, macaw chicks have to watch out for big-time aerial bullies like hawks and eagles, who see them as snack-sized appetizers. Adult macaws, though? They've got the muscle, the beak, and the vocal range of a Broadway performer, so they're not easy prey. But even the loudest squawk can't scare off their biggest threat, us. Yep, humans once again take the gold medal in the most likely to ruin a good thing category. Thanks to deforestation, we're chopping down their homes faster than they can say squawk. And then there's the illegal pet trade, where poachers snatch them from the wild so someone can stick them in a cage and teach them to say Polly wants out. So while macaws may look like carefree, party-coloured parrots living the jungle dream, they're actually navigating a world full of danger, both natural and entirely man-made. Alright, time to switch gears and hit you with some rapid-fire jungle trivia, because who doesn't love fun facts flying at them faster than a macaw spotting a cashew? Buckle up, because we're about to fire off some wild macaw knowledge that'll make you the most interesting person at your next awkward social gathering. Think of it like speed dating, but with parrots. Let's go! Macaws can live up to 50 years in the wild and even longer in captivity. Their beaks are so strong they can snap broomsticks in half. A macaw's tongue has a bone in it to help them manipulate food. They can fly up to 35 miles per hour. Hyacinth macaws are the largest flying parrots on Earth, with a wingspan over 4 feet. And yes, they do scream for attention. Here's a spicy one. Macaws sometimes fake injuries to distract predators from their nests. That's right, they go full drama queen. Wing drag, flapping, squealing, the whole act. It's like Bird Broadway out there. Many macaw species are now flirting dangerously with extinction, and not the cool dramatic movie kind. The Spix macaw, for example, actually went extinct in the wild. Gone, vanished, poof. The bird that inspired Blue from the Rio movies became a tragic real-world symbol of what happens when we bulldoze rainforests like they're inconvenient shrubs and treat exotic animals like collectibles. But here's the plot twist. The Spix macaw made a comeback. Sort of. Thanks to intense captive breeding programs, they've been reintroduced into protected areas, slowly turning the tide. And how are these birds learning to bird again after generations in aviaries? With the help of dummy macaws. I'm not kidding. They literally use parrot decoys to show the real birds how to perch, forage, and not fly directly into predators. It's like sending them to jungle kindergarten with a bunch of lifeless plastic mentors. And while that's both adorable and slightly tragic, the real villain here is still deforestation. We're tearing down their forest homes to plant soy, graze cattle, and expand cities faster than you can say sustainability. Oh, and illegal pet traders, they're out here trapping macaws like it's Pokemon Go, ripping them from the wild so someone can brag about owning a rainbow with wings. But there's hope. Conservation groups are stepping up with drones, satellite tracking, and high-tech macaw surveillance that makes it feel like these birds are in a spy thriller. They're reintroducing them into national parks, protecting nests, and most importantly, educating people about why the rainforest isn't just a green blur on Google Maps. It's a living, breathing home, filled with screaming parrots trying to make a comeback. Forget talons, the real weapon is that beak. A macaw's bite force can reach 300 psi, strong enough to snap fingers and crunch through metal cages. That beak isn't just for eating, it's for climbing, fighting, and occasionally reminding the humans who's boss. Their screaming is also a defense, loud enough to startle predators and most house guests. Now, time to ruffle some feathers because we're diving into the biggest myths about macaws and blowing them out of the sky, from cartoon cliches to internet nonsense. These birds have picked up a lot of false rumours along the way, so let's clear the air, crack some misconceptions, and maybe disappoint a pirate or two. Welcome to Macaw Mythbusting. Let's separate the squawk from the facts. Myth: all macaws can talk. Reality: not true. Some are chatty, sure, but others won't say a word their whole lives. Myth: macaws only live in rainforests. Reality: while they prefer rainforests, some species live in savannas and scrublands. Myth: macaws make good pets. Reality: they're wild animals with the emotional needs of toddlers, the lifespan of a grandparent, and the volume of a jet engine. Proceed with caution. Remember back at the start of this episode when we teased a story you had to stick around for? Well, congrats, you made it. And trust me, this one's worth the wait, because when it comes to macaws, real life is often way more chaotic, hilarious, and downright unbelievable than anything we could make up. Let's get into it. In 2014, a macaw in Brazil became the center of a courtroom investigation. Police believed the bird had been trained by drug traffickers, and after arresting the dealers, the macaw screamed "Mama, police" whenever officers approached. Authorities placed the bird in a zoo for rehabilitation. Locals nicknamed it the narco papagayo, or narc parrot. No charges were filed, but the macaw's loyalty, rock solid. If you made it this far without a macaw scream piercing your soul, congrats, you're now an honorary parrot whisperer. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and tell us, which bird would win in a battle of noise, macaw or cockatoo? See you next time in the Wildlife Lounge.